Picture a cold November night in 1975, deep in the Apache-Sitgreaves National Forest of Arizona. The air is sharp, carrying the scent of pine and fresh snow. The forest is quiet, save for the occasional rustle of leaves or the distant call of an owl. Snowflakes drift lazily through the darkness, catching the faint glow of starlight above. It's the kind of night where the world feels still, almost holding its breath, as if it knows something extraordinary is about to unfold. In this remote wilderness, a young man named Travis Walton, just 22 years old, is working late with his logging crew. They're a tight-knit group, hardened by long days cutting timber under the vast Arizona sky. Their chainsaws have fallen silent now, the day's work done, and they're ready to head home, their breath visible in the chilly air. Travis is a dreamer, the kind of person who looks at the stars and wonders what lies beyond. He's strong, capable, but there's a curiosity in him, a spark that makes him linger a little longer when others turn away. As the crew packs their tools into the back of their beat-up truck, the forest feels heavier, as if the darkness itself is watching. The men are tired, their muscles aching, their minds ready for the warmth of home. They climb into the truck, the doors creaking as they settle in, the engine rumbling to life. The headlights cut through the night, illuminating the rough dirt road ahead, winding through towering pines dusted with snow. Then, something stops them. A glow, faint at first, peeks through the trees. It's not the moon, not a star, not anything they recognize. It's a golden light, pulsing softly, hovering just above the treetops. The men lean forward, squinting through the windshield, their voices hushed. One of them mutters, "It might be a plane," but there's no sound, no hum of engines, just an eerie silence that makes the hair on their necks stand up. The light grows brighter, revealing a shape, a disc, smooth and metallic, about 20 feet across. It floats there, motionless, as if it's waiting, its surface reflecting the starlight like liquid silver. The crew sits frozen, their eyes locked on the impossible sight. Travis, though, feels something different. Not fear, not exactly, but a pull, a need to know more. His heart beats faster, not from fear, but from wonder. He opens the truck door, the cold air rushing in, and steps out onto the snowy ground. His boots crunch softly, the only sound in the stillness. His friends call out, their voices sharp with worry, urging him to get back in the truck. But Travis doesn't hear them, or maybe he does, but can't stop himself. He walks toward the light, his shadow stretching long behind him, swallowed by the glow. The disc hovers closer now, its light bathing him in a warm, golden hue. It's beautiful, in a way, like nothing he's ever seen. The air feels thick, charged, as if the forest itself is holding its breath. The crew watches, their shouts growing desperate. But Travis keeps moving, drawn to the craft like a moth to a flame. Then, it happens. A beam of light, blue and blinding, shoots from the craft. It envelops Travis, wrapping him in a glow so intense it seems to erase the world around him. His body lifts, weightless, his feet dangling above the snow. The crew screams, their voices raw with panic, but they can't move, can't look away. Travis's form blurs in the light, his silhouette fading, and then he's gone. The beam retracts, the craft hums softly, and in a blink it shoots upward, vanishing into the starry sky. The forest falls silent again, the glow gone, the snow undisturbed. The men in the truck are shaking, their faces pale, their minds struggling to process what they've just seen. They drive off, the truck's tires spinning on the icy road, their hearts pounding with fear and guilt. They left him. They left Travis behind. For 5 days, Travis Walton is gone. The town of Snowflake, Arizona, buzzes with whispers. The logging crew tells their story to the police, their voices trembling, their eyes haunted. Some believe them, but others don't. The town splits. Some call it a hoax, a story, cooked up by roughneck loggers looking for attention. Others whisper of murder, suspecting the crew did something to Travis and made up the tale to cover their tracks. The police search the forest, combing through the snow for footprints or anything, but find nothing. No tracks, no signs of struggle, no trace of Travis. The days drag on, and the mystery deepens, the forest keeping its secrets, locked tight under the winter sky. Then, on the 5th night, a phone rings at a gas station in Heber, Arizona, 30 miles away. It's Travis, his voice weak, disoriented, barely coherent. He's found stumbling near the station, his clothes torn, his body shivering. He's thinner, his eyes wide with something beyond fear, something like awe. The crew reunites with him, their relief mixed with disbelief. Travis tells a story that sounds impossible, yet he tells it with a quiet certainty. He speaks of waking in a room, smooth and metallic, with walls that seemed to pulse faintly like they were alive. The air was warm, heavy, with a faint hum that vibrated in his chest. He was lying on a table, cold and hard, surrounded by beings, small, no taller than 4 feet, with smooth gray skin and eyes so large they seemed to swallow. Their faces, those eyes, black and unblinking, looked into him, through him, as if they could see every thought, every memory. They didn't speak, not with words, but Travis felt their presence in his mind, a communication without sound. They moved with precision, their hands delicate but firm, guiding him through strange machines that glowed and hummed. He saw instruments he couldn't describe, screens with symbols that shifted and danced. He felt no pain, only confusion, a sense of time stretching and bending until it lost meaning. He tried to move, to speak, but his body wouldn't obey. The beings watched him, their eyes never leaving, their intentions unclear. Were they curious, studying him, or something else entirely? Travis couldn't tell. Then, a flash of light, a sensation of falling, and he was back, sprawled in the snow under the Arizona sky, the craft gone, the night silent once more. The story spreads like wildfire. Travis and his crew face scrutiny, their lives upended. They take lie detector tests, and most pass, their accounts consistent even under pressure. Skeptics scoff, calling it a stunt, a bid for fame. Scientists puzzle over the missing time, the lack of physical evidence. The forest yields no clues, no scorch marks, no debris, just snow and silence. Yet Travis never wavers. He writes a book, The Walton Experience, detailing every moment, every sensation. Decades later, he still speaks of it, his voice steady, his eyes distant, as if he's still seeing that golden light. The crew, too, stands by their story, their bond forged in that moment of terror and wonder. What happened in that forest? Was it a craft from another world, or something closer to home? A trick of the mind, a shared hallucination? The beam of light, the missing days, the beings with those endless eyes, they haunt the story, lingering like the snow that blanketed the ground that night. Some say Travis saw something beyond our understanding, a glimpse of a truth we're not ready to face. Others say it's just a tale, a story spun in the quiet of the forest. but the stars above Apache Sitgreaves still shine. Their light, carrying secrets older than time. Travis Walton walked away from that night, but part of him stayed there under the glow of something unknown, something that refuses to be explained. The town of Snowflake moves on, the forest grows quiet again, but the questions remain. What was that disk hovering silently above the trees? Who were those beings, if they were beings at all? The snow falls, the pines sway, and the sky keeps its silence. Travis's story is a thread in the tapestry of the unknown, a moment where the ordinary met the impossible. As you listen, let your mind drift to that snowy night, to the light that changed everything. Feel the cold air, hear the hum, see the stars. Whatever happened to Travis Walton, it's a mystery that belongs to the night, to the vastness above, where answers float just out of reach, like a craft vanishing into the dark. Imagine a cool September night in 1961, the kind where the air carries a hint of autumn, crisp and clean, with stars scattered like diamonds across a velvet sky. You're on a quiet, winding highway in New Hampshire's White Mountains, the road stretching endlessly through dark forests and rolling hills. Betty and Barney Hill, a couple from Portsmouth, are driving home from a vacation in Canada, their car humming along the lonely stretch of Route 3. The dashboard glows softly, casting a warm light on their faces. Betty, thoughtful and curious, gazes out the window, while Barney, steady and practical, keeps his eyes on the road. They're tired but content, their dog Delcy curled up in the back, the rhythm of the drive lulling them into a gentle calm. The night is still, the only sounds the soft hum of the engine and the occasional rustle of leaves as the wind moves through the trees. Betty notices something in the sky, a light, bright and steady, moving in a way that doesn't feel right. It's not a plane, not a star, not anything she can place. She points it out to Barney, her voice soft but tinged with curiosity. He glances up, his brow furrowing, and shrugs it off at first, thinking it's just a satellite or a distant aircraft. But the light grows closer, brighter, its movements erratic, darting, and pausing in a way that defies logic. Betty's curiosity deepens, a quiet thrill mixing with unease. She reaches for the binoculars in the glove compartment, her fingers brushing against the cool metal as she lifts them to her eyes. Through the lenses, the light takes shape. A craft, flat and pancake-like, with glowing windows along its edge. Betty's breath catches as she passes the binoculars to Barney, urging him to look. He pulls the car to the side of the road, gravel crunching under the tires, and peers into the night. His hands tighten around the binoculars as he sees it too. Figures moving inside the craft, not human, but watching. Their forms shadowy against the glowing interior. The craft hovers silently, its presence heavy, like a weight, pressing down on the quiet highway. Barney feels a chill, not from the cool night air, but from something deeper, something that makes his heart race. Betty's voice is a whisper now, asking what they should do, but Barney doesn't answer. He just stares, caught between disbelief and a growing sense of dread. They climb back into the car, the doors shutting with a soft thud. Barney presses the gas, the engine roaring as they speed down the highway, the light keeping pace above them. It's following them, silent and relentless. Its glow casting strange shadows across the dashboard. Betty keeps her eyes on it, her mind racing, trying to make sense of what they're seeing. The road curves through the mountains, the trees closing in, their branches like dark fingers against the starry sky. Then, a sound breaks the silence. A rhythmic beeping, low and insistent, coming from nowhere and everywhere at once. It fills the car, vibrating in their chests, and their minds grow foggy, their thoughts slipping away like water through their fingers. The road ahead blurs, the stars fade, and time itself seems to bend. When awareness returns, they're still driving, but something's wrong. The car is miles down the road, far from where they last remember being. Their watches have stopped, the hands frozen at an impossible hour. Betty's dress is torn, Barney's shoes scuffed, as if they've been somewhere else, somewhere not here. They exchange glances, their eyes wide with unspoken questions, but neither speaks. They drive home in silence, the night pressing in around them, the memory of that light burning in their minds. When they arrive, they realize 2 hours are missing. 2 hours they can't account for. Like a chapter torn from a book, the beeping, the light, the craft. It's all a haze, a puzzle with pieces that don't fit. Days pass, but the unease lingers. Betty starts having dreams, vivid and strange, of being in a room with smooth, curved walls lit by a soft, unnatural glow. She sees beings, small, with gray skin and large, almond-shaped eyes that seem to hold no emotion, only focus. They move with precision, guiding her to a table, their hands cool against her skin. Barney dreams, too, of needles, of a cold surface, of those same unblinking eyes watching him. The dreams feel too real, too consistent, and the hills can't shake the feeling that something happened, something they can't fully grasp. They seek help, turning to a psychiatrist who suggests hypnosis to unlock the memories buried in their minds. Under hypnosis, the story unfolds, piece by piece, like a dream slowly coming into focus. Betty recalls being taken from the car, floating upward in a beam of light, her body weightless as the craft loomed above. She describes a room, sterile and gleaming, where the beings examined her, their movements calm but purposeful. They spoke to her, not with words, but in her mind, their voices like a soft hum, explaining things she couldn't fully understand. One of them showed her a star map, a pattern of lights, connected by lines, glowing against a dark screen. She drew it later, her hand trembling as she traced the strange constellation. A map she felt was important, though she didn't know why. Barney's memories are sharper, filled with fear. He speaks of being on a table, of needles piercing his skin, of those eyes staring down, unyielding, as if they could see into his soul. The Hills story becomes one of the first widely publicized alien abduction cases, a tale that captures the imagination and divides opinions. Betty's star map, with its precise arrangement of dots and lines, intrigues astronomers. Some say it resembles the Zeta Reticuli system, a pair of stars far from Earth, but others call it coincidence, a trick of the mind. The couple's watches never work. Again, their clothes show strange marks, pinkish stains on Betty's dress, odd scratches on Barney's shoes. Investigators find no physical evidence of the craft, no traces on the highway, yet the Hills' accounts remain consistent, their fear palpable even years later. They were an ordinary couple, Betty a social worker, Barney a postal employee, both active in their community with no reason to invent such a story. Skeptics argue it was a shared delusion, perhaps triggered by stress or the power of suggestion. Others point to the cultural moment science fiction was booming in the early 1960s, filling the air with tales of flying saucers. But Betty and Barney never sought fame. They shied away from the spotlight, their lives disrupted by the attention. Their story was told quietly with a sincerity that's hard to dismiss. Under hypnosis, their voices trembled, their bodies tensed, as if reliving the fear of that night. The consistency of their accounts, even when questioned separately, baffles experts. The beeping sound, the missing time, the star, map, they're pieces of a puzzle that refuses to be solved. The White Mountains stand silent, their peaks cloaked in mist, their forests whispering secrets the wind can't carry. What did Betty and Barney Hill see that night? Was it a craft from another world, its occupants studying them like specimens under a microscope? Or was it something else? A trick of light? A dream that felt too real? The highway stretches on, empty now, its curves lit only by moonlight. The stars above twinkle, their patterns unchanging, but Betty's map lingers in the mind, a glimpse of something beyond our reach. The hills carried their story to their graves, never wavering, their eyes always drifting upward, as if searching for that light. Again. As you listen, imagine that quiet road, the cool air brushing your skin, the stars watching from above. Feel the weight of the unknown, the mystery that wraps around Betty and Barney's tale like a soft blanket. Their story is a thread in the vast tapestry of the cosmos, a moment where the ordinary brushed against the infinite. Whatever happened on that New Hampshire highway, it's a secret the night holds close, a whisper from the stars that fades into the dark. Let your mind drift, carried by the hum of that distant light as the world fades and the universe opens wide. Picture a warm August night in 1976, deep in the Allagash Wilderness waterway of northern Maine. The air is soft, scented with pine, and the faint dampness of the lake nearby. Eagle Lake stretches out under a sky so clear, it feels like you could reach up and touch. The stars, their light shimmering on the water's surface, like scattered jewels. Four friends, Jack and Jim Weiner, Chuck Rack, and Charlie Foltz, are camping here, far from the noise of the world, their tents pitched on the shore. They're young, in their 20s, art, students and adventurers drawn to the wild beauty of this remote place. The night is alive with the gentle lapping of water against the shore, the distant call of a loon, and the soft crackle of their campfire, its glow painting their faces in shades of amber. The four men are close, their laughter echoing as they share stories under the vast sky. They've spent the day fishing, paddling their canoes across the lake, their muscles pleasantly tired from the effort. Now, as the fire burns low, they decide to head out onto the water for one last fishing trip under the stars. They pile into a single canoe, their paddles dipping quietly into the dark water. The boat gliding smoothly across the lake. The night wraps around them, the air cool against their skin, the stars above so bright they seem to pulse with a life of their own. They leave a large fire burning on the shore, a beacon to guide them back, its light flickering like a star, fallen to earth. As they drift further out, the world feels impossibly still. The only sounds the soft splash of their paddles and the occasional ripple of a fish breaking the surface. Jack, always the observer, scans the sky, his artist's eye catching details others might miss. He notices a light, faint at first, hovering low over the horizon. It's brighter than the stars, steadier than a plane, moving in a way that feels wrong. He points it out, his voice low, almost a whisper, as if speaking too loudly might disturb the night. The others look up, their paddles slowing, their eyes narrowing as they track the light. It's growing larger, closer, its glow shifting from white to a warm golden hue that feels alive, like it's watching them. The canoe bobs gently on the water, the men frozen, their breath shallow. The light is no longer just a point in the sky. It's a craft, silent, disc-shaped, maybe 80 feet across, hovering above the lake. Its surface is smooth, metallic, reflecting the starlight in a way that makes it seem almost liquid. Windows line its edge, glowing with a soft, pulsing light, and the men feel a strange pull, a mix of awe and unease. Charlie, the practical one, grips the paddle tighter, urging them to head back to shore. They turn the canoe, their movements hurried but careful, the water rippling beneath them. The fire on the shore burns bright, but it feels so far away, like a memory of safety they can't quite reach. The craft follows, silent and relentless, its light bathing the lake in an eerie glow. The men paddle faster, their hearts pounding, the water splashing against the canoe's sides. Then, a beam of light, bright and warm, shoots from the craft, enveloping them. It's not harsh, not blinding, but it feels like it's holding them, suspending time itself. The lake, the stars, the canoe, all of it fades, replaced by a sensation of weightlessness, of being lifted, carried somewhere else. The men's minds blur, their thoughts slipping away like dreams dissolving at dawn. The fire on the shore, their only anchor, seems to vanish, swallowed by the night. When they come to, they're back on the shore, the canoe pulled up beside them. The fire, which they'd built to burn for hours, is nothing but cold ashes, its embers long dead. They look at each other, their faces pale, their eyes wide with questions they don't know how to ask. The stars are still there, but the night feels different, heavier, as if it's holding a secret. They don't speak much, just pack up their gear and head back to camp. The silence between them thick with unspoken fear. Hours are missing. Hours they can't account for, like a gap in their reality. The lake lies still, its surface reflecting the stars, but it offers no answers, only a quiet that feels too deep, too knowing. Days turn into weeks, and the men try to move on, but the memory of that night clings to them. Nightmares haunt their sleep, vivid, images of a room with smooth curved walls, lit by a soft, unnatural glow. They see beings, small, with large black eyes that seem to pierce through them, their movements precise but alien. The dreams are too similar, too detailed, shared among the four men in ways that make their skin crawl. Years later, they seek help, turning to hypnosis to unlock the memories buried in their minds. Under the guidance of a psychiatrist, the story emerges, piece by piece, like a painting taking shape on a canvas. They describe being taken aboard the craft, floating upward in that warm beam of light, their bodies weightless, their minds foggy, but aware. The room they entered was sterile, its walls pulsing faintly as if alive. The beings were small, no taller than 4 feet, with gray skin and eyes so large they seemed to hold the universe itself. They didn't speak, not with words, but the men felt their presence, a communication that bypassed sound, slipping directly into their thoughts. Jack recalls lying on a table, cold and smooth, as the beings examined him, their hands cool and delicate, moving with purpose. Jim sees instruments, strange and glowing, their shapes unfamiliar, their purpose unclear. Chuck remembers a sensation of being studied, like a specimen under a lens, while Charlie, the skeptic, fights the fear, his mind clinging to fragments of resistance. The beings didn't harm them, but their presence was overwhelming, their eyes unblinking, their intentions a mystery. The men felt time stretch, minutes or hours blending into a haze. They saw screens with shifting symbols, patterns that seemed to carry meaning. They couldn't grasp. Then, a flash, a sensation of falling, and they were back on the shore. The canoe beside them. The fire gone cold. The hypnosis sessions reveal more. The men's accounts align, even when questioned separately. Their descriptions of the craft, the beings, the room eerily consistent. They draw what they saw, their artists' hands sketching the same images. Those eyes, those smooth walls, that glowing craft. The Allagash Four, as they come to be known, face a world divided. Some believe them, captivated by the detail, the consistency, the raw fear in their voices. Others dismiss it, pointing to their campfire stories, suggesting they'd been influenced by tales of UFOs, their imaginations running wild. But the men were not seeking fame. They were private, their lives disrupted by the attention. The lie detector tests they take show no deception, their stories unwavering even decades later. No physical evidence is found, no marks on the canoe, no traces on the shore, but the missing time, the shared dreams, the drawings, they linger, defying explanation. Skeptics argue it was a group hallucination, perhaps sparked by the isolation of the wilderness, the power of suggestion under the starry sky. But the Allagash is remote, untouched, a place where the world feels closer to the stars than to civilization. The men, now older, still speak of that night, their voices quiet but certain, their eyes distant, as if part of them never left that lake. The water of Chwat Eagle Lake still flows, reflecting the same stars, but it holds its secrets close, its surface unbroken by answers. Was it a craft from another world, its occupants studying four men who stumbled into their path? Or was it something else, a trick of the mind, a dream shared under the weight of the unknown? As you listen, imagine the gentle lapping of the lake, the cool night air brushing your skin, the stars above, whispering secrets too vast to hold. Feel the mystery of that night, the glow of that craft, the eyes that saw too much. The Allagash Four's story is a thread in the fabric of the unknown, a moment where the ordinary met the infinite. Whatever happened on that lake, it's a secret, the wilderness. A fettered whisper from the stars that fades into the dark. Let your mind drift, carried by the rhythm of the water, as the world softens and the universe opens wide. Imagine a warm October evening in 1973, along the banks of the Pascagoula River in Mississippi. The air is thick with the scent of marsh grass and the faint salt of the nearby Gulf. A soft breeze carrying the hum of crickets and the gentle lapping of water against the shore. The sky above is clear, stars twinkling like tiny lanterns, their light reflecting on the river's dark surface. Two men, Charles Hickson, 42, and Calvin Parker, just 19, are fishing from an old pier, their lines cast into the quiet current. They're co-workers, both rough around the edges, used to long days at the shipyard, their hands calloused from labor. Tonight, they're here to unwind, the rhythm of the river soothing their tired minds, the world feeling far away in this pocket of stillness. Charles, or Charlie as he's known, is the older of the two, a man of few words but steady presence, his eyes scanning the water for the flicker of a fish. Calvin, younger and quieter, stands nearby, his fishing rod loose in his hands, his thoughts drifting with the current. The pier creaks under their weight, weathered wood groaning softly, and the night wraps around them like a warm blanket. The stars seem brighter here, away from the city lights of Pascagoula, their glow casting a gentle sheen across the river. It's the kind of night where time slows, where the world feels both vast and intimate, as if the universe itself is leaning in close to listen. Then something shifts. A faint hum, low and unnatural, cuts through the chorus of crickets. Charlie notices it first, his head tilting as he tries to place the sound. It's not a boat, not a car, not anything familiar. He glances at Calvin, who's frozen, his eyes fixed on the sky behind them. Charlie turns, and there it is, a blue light pulsing softly, hovering just above the riverbank. It's not a star, not a plane, but something else, something that makes the air feel heavier, charged with an energy that prickles their skin. The light grows, brighter, revealing a shape, an oval craft, about 30 feet long, its surface smooth and metallic, glowing with an eerie, otherworldly blue. It floats silently, no engines, no roar, just that low hum vibrating in their chests. Charlie's heart quickens, but he stands his ground, his fisherman's instinct telling him to stay calm. Calvin, though, feels a wave of fear, his hands gripping the fishing rod like a lifeline. The craft moves closer, its light bathing the pier in a soft, almost warm glow. 3 figures appear, not walking but floating, gliding toward the men. They're not human. Tall, maybe 5 or 6 feet, with gray, wrinkled skin like an elephant's, and heads that seem too small, with slits for eyes and no mouths. Their arms are long, ending in claw-like hands, and they move with a strange mechanical grace. Charlie tries to speak, to call out, but his voice catches. His body, suddenly heavy, as if the air itself is holding him in place. Calvin's knees buckle, his vision blurring, fear overwhelming him. The beings reach them, and Charlie feels his body lift, weightless, as if gravity has forgotten him. He's paralyzed, unable to move, his mind racing but his limbs locked. Calvin beside him collapses, his consciousness slipping away, his body limp as the beings carry him. They're floating now, both men drawn toward the craft in a beam of that blue light, the river and pier fading below. The world narrows to the hum, the glow, the sensation of being pulled somewhere else, somewhere beyond the familiar. The craft's interior is a blur of light and shadow, a room with smooth walls that seem to pulse faintly, like a living thing. Charlie's eyes dart around, taking in the strange machines, their surfaces glowing with symbols he can't read, their purpose, a mystery. He's on a table now, cold and hard, the beings surrounding him. Their slit-like eyes stare, unblinking, their presence overwhelming, yet strangely calm. They move with precision, their claw-like hands guiding instruments that hum and glow. Charlie feels a scanning sensation, like a light passing through him, probing without pain. His mind is clear, but detached, as if he's watching himself from a distance. The beings don't speak, but he senses their intent, a curiosity that feels clinical, like scientists studying a specimen. Calvin, nearby, is barely conscious, his fear so intense it pulls him under, his memories fragmented. The room is warm, the air heavy, the hum constant, lulling them into a dreamlike state where time loses meaning. Then, as quickly as it began, it's over. A flash of light, a sensation of falling, and they're back on the pier, the river lapping quietly, the stars unchanged. The craft is gone, the blue light vanished, the night silent except for the crickets resuming their song. Charlie stumbles, his legs weak, his mind struggling to piece together what happened. Calvin is shaking, his face pale, tears in his eyes. They look at each other, their breaths ragged, the weight of the unknown pressing down. Their fishing rods lie abandoned, the pier creaking softly under their weight. They don't know how long they were gone, minutes, maybe hours, but the night feels different, as if it's holding a secret it won't share. They drive to the sheriff's office, their voices trembling as they try to explain. The deputies listen, skeptical, their eyes narrowing at the wild story. But Charlie and Calvin are insistent, their fear raw, their words spilling out in a rush. Unknown to them, a recorder captures their conversation in a back room, their voices filled with panic and confusion. Charlie says he felt like he was being studied, like a fish pulled from the river. Calvin, barely able to speak, says he thought he'd never come back. The recording, later discovered, becomes a haunting piece of the puzzle, their terror too real to dismiss. The sheriff finds no evidence on the pier, no marks, no traces, but the men's story doesn't waver. The town of Pascagoula buzzes with whispers. Some believe them, drawn to the sincerity in their voices, the way Charlie's steady gaze meets every question, the way Calvin's fear lingers like a shadow. Others call it a hoax, a tale spun by two working men looking for attention. But Charlie and Calvin shy away from the spotlight, their lives upended by the scrutiny. They're not storytellers, not seekers of fame, just men who went fishing and came back with a story that doesn't fit. Doctors examine them, finding no physical marks. But Calvin's distress is so profound he seeks treatment, haunted by nightmares of those gray beings, their claw-like hands reaching for him. Years later, under hypnosis, their memories sharpen, but the core remains the same. Charlie recalls the room, the instruments, the sensation of being scanned. Calvin, still shaken, remembers little beyond the fear, the beings, the light. Their accounts align, even when questioned apart, their descriptions of the craft and beings consistent. No debris is found, no witnesses come forward, yet the story persists, a thread in the tapestry of the unknown. Lie detector tests, taken later, show no deception, their words steady even, under pressure. The river keeps flowing, its surface calm, reflecting the stars that watched that night. Skeptics point to the era, 1973, a time of UFO fever, of movies and books filling the air with tales of the unknown. They suggest the men were drunk or delusional, caught up in a shared fantasy. But Charlie and Calvin were sober, their lives grounded, their story told, with a quiet conviction that's hard to shake. The Pascagoula River holds no answers, its waters silent about what happened that night. Was it a craft from another world, its occupants studying two men who crossed their path? Or was it something else, a trick of the mind? A moment where fear and wonder blurred into something unforgettable? As you listen, imagine the river's gentle flow, the warm air brushing your skin, the stars above whispering secrets too vast to hold. Feel the mystery of that night, the blue light that changed everything, the beings who came and went without a trace. Charlie and Calvin's story is a whisper from the unknown, a moment where the ordinary met the infinite. Whatever happened on that pier, it's a secret the river keeps, a glow that fades into the dark. Let your mind drift, carried by the rhythm of the water, as the world softens and the universe opens wide. Imagine a cool August night in 1993, In the Dandenong Ranges of Victoria, Australia, the air is crisp, scented with eucalyptus and damp earth, the kind of night where the world feels hushed, wrapped in a quiet that invites dreams. The sky stretches wide, a deep, indigo canvas dotted with stars that gleam like distant promises. Kelly Cahill, a 27-year-old mother of 3, is driving home with her husband, Andrew, along a winding road through the hills. Their car hums softly, its headlights cutting through the darkness, illuminating the narrow path flanked by towering gum trees. The radio is off, the only sound the gentle rumble of the engine and the occasional rustle of leaves stirred by a passing breeze. Kelly leans back in her seat, her thoughts drifting, the rhythm of the drive lulling her into a state of calm. The road curves through the ranges, the hills rising like silent sentinels under the starlit sky. Kelly and Andrew are tired, returning from a friend's house, their minds on the warmth of home, the comfort of their children sleeping soundly. The night feels ordinary, the kind of night where nothing remarkable should happen. But as they round a bend, Kelly notices something, a glow, faint at first, hovering low above the road ahead. It's not a streetlight, not a car, not anything she can name. The light is soft, almost inviting, pulsing with a warmth that draws her gaze. She points it out to Andrew, her voice quiet, tinged with curiosity rather than fear. He squints through the windshield, his hands tightening on the steering wheel, trying to make sense of the strange sight. They slow the car, the gravel crunching under the tires, and peer into the night. The glow sharpens into a shape, a craft, massive, maybe 150 feet across, its surface smooth and dark, with glowing windows along its side. The windows pulse with light, and Kelly feels a chill, not from the cool air, but from the sense that something is watching them. She sees figures inside, tall and thin, their forms shadowy against the glowing interior. Andrew pulls the car to a stop, the engine idling, the silence of the hills pressing in around them. The craft hovers silently, no hum, no sound, just an eerie stillness that makes the stars seem dimmer, as if the night itself is holding its breath. Kelly feels drawn to it, her curiosity outweighing the unease creeping up her spine. She opens the car door, the cool air brushing her skin, and steps out, her shoes soft against the gravel. Andrew follows, his voice low, urging her to stay close. The craft shifts, descending closer, its light bathing the road in a warm, golden glow. Then, a beam shoots out, bright but not blinding, enveloping them both. Kelly's body feels light, as if gravity has loosened its grip, and her mind grows hazy, her thoughts slipping away like sand through her fingers. Andrew's voice fades, the car, the road, the trees, all of it dissolves into the light. The world narrows to that glow, that weightless sensation, as if they're being pulled somewhere far beyond the hills. When awareness returns, they're back in the car, driving, the road stretching ahead as if nothing happened. But something's wrong. The dashboard clock shows an hour has passed, an hour they can't account for. Kelly's dress is smudged with strange marks, her skin tingling with a faint, unfamiliar sensation. Andrew's hands are tight on the wheel, his face pale, his eyes darting to the rearview mirror, as if expecting the light to reappear. They don't speak, not yet. The silence heavy with questions neither can answer. They arrive home, the house quiet, the children still asleep. But the night feels different, as if it's left something behind. A shadow that lingers in their minds. Days pass, but the unease grows. Kelly starts having dreams, vivid and unsettling, of a room with smooth, curved walls lit by a soft, unnatural light. She sees beings, tall, thin, with glowing eyes that seem to see through her. Their movements, calm but purposeful. The dreams are too real, too detailed, and Andrew shares them, his own nightmares mirroring hers. They feel violated, as if something was taken from them, though they can't say what. The missing hour gnaws at them, a gap in their memory that feels like a wound. They seek help, turning to hypnosis to unlock the fragments buried in their minds, hoping to make sense of the night that changed everything. Under hypnosis, Kelly's memories unfold like a story told in whispers. She recalls being lifted into the craft, her body floating in that warm beam of light, her mind calm but detached. The room inside was sterile, its walls seamless, glowing faintly as if alive. The beings were tall, over 7 feet, with slender limbs and eyes that glowed like embers. Their presence both alien and strangely familiar. They didn't speak, but Kelly felt their thoughts, a communication that bypassed words, slipping into her mind like a gentle breeze. They guided her to a table, their hands cool and smooth, and she felt a scanning sensation, as if light was passing through her, probing without pain. Andrew, under hypnosis, describes a similar scene. A table, the beings, the sense of being studied, his fear muted by a strange calm. Kelly remembers one moment vividly, a being showing her a screen, images of landscapes and stars, scenes she couldn't understand, but felt were important. The beings seemed curious, their glowing eyes fixed on her, as if trying to learn something from her very existence. Andrew recalls instruments, strange and glowing, their shapes defying logic. The experience felt timeless, minutes stretching into hours or perhaps no time at all. Then, a flash, a sensation of falling, and they were back in the car. The road, stretching ahead, the craft gone, the night silent once more. The hypnosis sessions reveal another detail, another car, strangers on, the same road, who saw the same craft, their accounts aligning with Kelly's, though they never met. The Kelly Cahill encounter becomes a cornerstone of UFO lore, a story that captivates and divides. The stranger's accounts, discovered later, add weight to her tale, their descriptions of the craft matching hers in eerie detail. Kelly writes a book, Encounter, pouring her experience into words, her voice steady but haunted. The marks on her dress, a strange triangle on her abdomen, puzzle. Investigators. No physical evidence of the craft is found, no scorch marks, no debris, but the consistency of the witnesses, the shared missing time, defies easy explanation. The Dandenong Ranges remain quiet, their hills cloaked in mist, their secrets buried in the earth. Skeptics argue it was a shared delusion, perhaps triggered by the isolation of the night, the power of suggestion under the starry sky. The early 1990s were alive with UFO stories, they say, filling the air with tales of lights and beings. But Kelly and Andrew were ordinary people, not seekers of fame, their lives disrupted by the attention. Their accounts, told separately, align with a precision that unsettles even the doubters. The other witnesses, strangers who saw the same light, add a layer of mystery, their stories a mirror to Kelly's. No one gains from the tale, yet no one wavers, their voices carrying the weight of that night. The hills of Dandenong stand silent, their trees swaying gently, the stars above unchanged. What did Kelly Cahill see that night? Was It a craft from another world, its occupants studying a couple caught in its path? Or was it something else? A trick of the mind? A dream woven from the quiet of the night? The road stretches on, empty now, its curves lit only by moonlight. The stars twinkle, their patterns a mystery, and Kelly's story lingers, a glimpse of something beyond our reach. Her triangle mark, the stranger's accounts, the missing hour, they're pieces of a puzzle that refuses to fit. As you listen, imagine the cool eucalyptus air, the soft glow of stars, the road winding through the hills. Feel the weight of the unknown, the light that changed everything, the beings who watched and then vanished. Kelly Cahill's story is a thread in the vast tapestry of the cosmos, a moment where the ordinary brushed against the infinite. Whatever happened in those ranges, it's a secret. The night holds close, a whisper from the stars that fades into the dark. Let your mind drift, carried by the rhythm of the road as the world softens and the universe opens wide. Picture a quiet September evening in 1997, in the heart of Moscow, Russia. The city hums softly outside, its lights casting a warm glow through the windows of a high-rise apartment. The air is cool, carrying the faint scent of autumn leaves and distant traffic. A.E. gentle reminder of the world below. Inside, Kherson Ilyumzhinov, a millionaire businessman and the president of the Russian Republic of Kalmykia, sits alone in his apartment. He's a man of many roles, leader of a Buddhist enclave, head of the World Chess Federation, a chess master with a mind as sharp as the moves he plays. Tonight, he's winding down, a book open in his lap, the television flickering softly in the background, its light dancing across the room. The world feels still, the city's pulse a distant rhythm, lulling him towards sleep. Kherson is no ordinary man. At 35, he's already transformed Kalmykia into a chess haven, building a grand chess city complex that draws players from across the globe. His life is one of bold moves, both on the board and in politics, his vision shaped by a blend of strategy and spirituality. The apartment is quiet, the only sounds the soft rustle of pages and the low hum of the television. The balcony door is closed, the night beyond a canvas of stars and city lights. Khirson's eyes grow heavy, his thoughts drifting, the weight of the day settling into a gentle haze. He's on the edge of sleep, the world blurring at the edges, when something stirs, a feeling, a presence, like a whisper calling from the shadows. He senses movement, a subtle shift in the air, and looks toward the balcony. The door, which he's sure was shut, now stands open, the cool night air slipping inside. A light, soft and yellow, glows faintly outside, not like the city's harsh streetlights, but something warmer, almost alive. Kherson rises, his curiosity piqued, his chess player's mind alert to the unexpected. He steps toward the balcony, the floor cool beneath his feet, and sees it, a semi-transparent tube shimmering like liquid glass, hovering just beyond the railing. It's not a machine, not a structure, but something else, something that feels like it doesn't belong to this world. The light pulses gently, inviting, and Kherson feels a pull, not of fear, but of wonder, as if the universe itself is beckoning. He steps closer, the city below fading into a distant hum, and enters the tube. It's warm inside, the air thick but breathable, carrying a faint hum that vibrates in his chest. The tube seems to move, lifting him, carrying him upward, and the apartment vanishes, replaced by a vast, glowing space. He's aboard a craft, its walls smooth and curved, lit by a soft golden light that seems to come from everywhere and nowhere. The space is vast, like a chamber the size of a football field, yet it feels intimate, as if it's shaped to his presence. Figures appear, human-like but not quite, dressed in yellow spacesuits that shimmer like the light itself. Their faces are obscured, their eyes hidden, but Kirsan feels their gaze, calm and knowing, as if they see not just him, but through him. They don't speak, not with words, but Kirsan senses their thoughts, a communication that flows like a gentle stream into his mind. They fit him with a spacesuit, its fabric smooth and light, its chest panel glowing with dials he doesn't understand. He adjusts one, feeling a rush of oxygen, the air cool and sharp in his lungs. The beings guide him through the craft, their movements fluid, almost serene. They show him chambers filled with strange machines, screens displaying patterns of light, and symbols that shift like stars in a night sky. Kirsan, ever the strategist, tries to understand, to ask questions, but the answers come as feelings, as ideas, not words. They want him to know something, to see that they exist, that the universe is not as empty as it seems. The craft moves, not with the roar of engines, but with a silent grace, and Kirsan feels a shift, as if they've left the Earth behind. He sees a star, bright and distant, through a window that spans the horizon. The beings take him to another place, a planet perhaps, its surface glowing faintly under a sky of unfamiliar constellations. They collect something, a piece of equipment. Their purpose, unclear but deliberate. Kirsan watches, his mind racing, his chess player's instinct searching for patterns, for meaning. He asks to return, his thoughts drifting to a meeting in Ukraine, a commitment he must keep. The beings understand, their response a calm assurance, and the craft shifts again, the stars blurring as they bring him back. He's back in his apartment, the balcony door closed, the city lights unchanged, the television still flickers, the book lies open, but hours have passed, hours he can't account for. His driver, his minister, his assistant, they notice his absence, their voices laced with confusion when they ask where he went. Kirsan feels different, not afraid, but touched by something vast, something that lingers like a dream he can't fully grasp. The yellow light, the spacesuit, the beings, they stay with him, vivid in his memory, as real as the chessboard he knows so well. He doesn't speak of it at first, wary of the world's judgment, but years later, in 2001, he shares the story on Radio Svoboda, his voice steady, unapologetic. The tale gains little attention at first, but in 2010, on a Russian talk show with Vladimir Posner, Kirsan tells it again, his words calm, but firm. He describes the tube, the yellow-suited beings, the telepathic exchange, the journey to a star. The world takes notice now, the story spreading like wildfire. Some call it a publicity stunt, a politician's ploy for attention. Others, like Russian parliamentarian Andrei Lebedev, take it seriously, asking President Dmitry Medvedev to investigate whether Kirsan shared state secrets with the Mei beings. Kirsan, unfazed, insists he's not crazy, that thousands have written to him, sharing similar stories, proof he's not alone. He even suggests chess itself came from the stars, its universal rules, 64 squares, black and white, too perfect for Earth alone. The reaction is mixed. In Kalmykia, where Kirsan is both revered and controversial, some see him as a visionary, a man who brought chess and Buddhist temples to their small republic. Others question his leadership, pointing to accusations of autocracy, of funneling resources into chess while poverty persists. The abduction story adds fuel to the debate, a puzzle piece that doesn't fit the image of a politician. Yet Kirsan stands by it, his voice calm, his eyes distant, as if he's still seeing that glowing tube. His aides confirm his absence that night, their accounts aligning with his, but no physical evidence remains, no marks, no debris, just the story and the witnesses. Skeptics argue it's a fabrication, a tale spun by a man known for eccentricity, for friendships with figures like Saddam Hussein and Muammar Gaddafi. They point to the era, 1997, a time when UFO stories filled the air, perhaps planting seeds in an imaginative mind. But Kirsan is no dreamer lost in fantasy. He's a strategist, a chess master who sees moves others don't. The consistency of his story, told over years, unsettles even the doubters. The yellow spacesuits, the telepathic exchange, the starlit journey, they're vivid, specific, not the vague ramblings of delusion. And the witnesses, his driver, his minister, his assistant, add weight, their confusion, as real as his certainty. Moscow's lights still shine, the city moving on, its streets unaware of the night one man claims he left it behind. What did Kirsan Ilyumzhinov see in that glowing tube? Was it a craft from another world, its occupant sharing a glimpse of the cosmos? Or was it something else, a vision, a dream born in the quiet of a Moscow night? The stars above the city twinkle, their patterns unchanged. But Kirsan's story lingers, a thread in the tapestry of the unknown. The apartment, the balcony, the yellow light, they're pieces of a puzzle that refuses to fit. A move on a cosmic chessboard we can't yet understand. As you listen, imagine the cool Moscow air, the soft glow of city lights, the stars above, whispering secrets too vast to hold. Feel the mystery of that night, the tube that shimmered, the beings who came and went. Kirsan's story is a glimpse of infinite, a moment where the ordinary met the impossible. Whatever happened in that apartment, it's a secret the night keeps, a whisper from the stars that fades into the dark. Let your mind drift, carried by the rhythm of the city, as the world softens and the universe opens wide. Imagine a warm October night in 1957 in the rural heart of Minas Gerais, Brazil. The air is thick with the scent of earth and grass. A gentle breeze rustling through the fields, carrying the faint hum of crickets and the distant bark of a dog. The sky is vast, a deep black, canvas studded with stars that shine like scattered pearls, their light casting a soft glow over the rolling farmland. Antonio Villas-Boas, a 23-year-old farmer, is working late, plowing his fields under the starlight. He's young, strong, used to the rhythms of rural life. His tractor's engine a steady hum against the quiet night. The field stretches out around him, the soil freshly turned, the world feeling simple, grounded, wrapped in the stillness of the countryside. Antonio is no stranger to hard work, his hands calloused from years of tending crops and livestock. Tonight, he's alone, his family, asleep in their modest farmhouse a mile away. The only light, the faint glow of his tractor's headlamp, cutting through the dark. The stars seem brighter than usual, their patterns sharp against the sky, and Antonio glances up occasionally, his thoughts drifting as the tractor rumbles along its rows. It's the kind of night where the world feels at peace, where the only sounds are the soft churn of the engine and the whisper of the breeze through the grass. He's tired but focused, the monotony of the task lulling him into a quiet rhythm, his mind wandering to the harvest, to the life he's building. Then, something changes. A red light, faint but growing brighter, appears in the sky, low over the horizon. It's not a star, not a plane, not anything Antonio recognizes from his years under the skies. He stops the tractor, the engine idling, and squints into the night. The light moves closer, its glow shifting from red to a warm, pulsating hue, like a heartbeat in the sky. Antonio feels a stir of curiosity, his farmer's practicality giving way to wonder. He climbs down from the tractor, his boots sinking into the soft earth, and watches as the light takes shape, a craft, egg-shaped, about 30 feet long, its surface smooth and metallic, glowing faintly under the starlight. It hovers silently above the field, no sound but a low hum that seems to vibrate in his bones. The craft descends, landing gently in the field, its light casting long shadows across the rows of crops. Antonio's heart quickens, but he stands his ground, his eyes fixed on the strange object. The air feels heavier now, charged with an energy that prickles his skin. A hatch opens, and figures emerge, small, about 5 feet tall, dressed in tight gray suits that shimmer like the craft itself. Their heads are covered by helmets, their faces obscured, but Antonio senses their gaze, steady and purposeful. They move toward him, their steps fluid, almost floating, and he feels a strange calm, as if his fear is being softened by the night itself. He tries to run, to climb, back onto the tractor, but his body won't move, his limbs heavy, as if the air is holding him in place. The beings reach him, their hands gentle but firm, guiding him toward the craft. Antonio feels his feet lift, his body weightless, drawn upward into a beam of light that's warm, almost comforting. The field fades below, the tractor a distant speck, and he's inside the craft, the hatch closing behind him. The interior is small, the walls smooth and glowing, lit by a soft bluish light that seems to come wheeze from everywhere. The air is warm, slightly metallic, and the hum is stronger now, a steady pulse that lulls his mind. The beings remove their helmets, revealing faces with large almond-shaped eyes, gray skin, and small slit-like mouths. They don't speak, but Antonio feels their presence, a communication that slips into his thoughts like a whisper, calm but commanding. They lead him to a table, cold and smooth, and he lies down, his body still heavy, his mind clear but detached. The beings move with precision, their hands guiding strange instruments that glow and hum, their shapes unfamiliar, their purpose a mystery. Antonio feels a scanning sensation, like a light passing through him, probing without pain. The beings seem curious, their eyes fixed on him, as if studying every detail of his existence. Then, something unexpected happens. A woman appears, not like the others, but still not human. She's small, her skin pale, her eyes large and blue, her hair platinum blonde. She's naked, her presence both alien and strangely familiar, and Antonio feels a mix of confusion and calm, his fear fading into a dreamlike haze. The woman approaches, her movements slow and deliberate, and Antonio feels a connection, not physical but something deeper, as if she's reaching into his mind. The encounter is intimate, not in the way of Earth, but in a way that feels purposeful, clinical, like part of an experiment. Time stretches, minutes or hours blurring together, and Antonio's thoughts grow foggy, his sense of reality slipping. The woman leaves, and the beings return, guiding him through more tests, their instruments glowing, their eyes unblinking. He sees screens with shifting symbols, patterns that seem to hold meaning he can't grasp. Then, a flash of light, a sensation of falling, and he's back in the field, the craft gone, the night silent except for the hum of his tractor, still idling nearby. Antonio stumbles to his feet, his clothes damp with sweat, his body marked with strange burns and redness on his skin. The stars are unchanged, the field quiet, but hours have passed, hours he can't account for. He drives home, the tractor's rumble a faint comfort, but the memory of the craft, the beings, the woman, it burns in his mind, vivid and unshakable. He tells his family, his voice trembling, and they listen, their faces a mix of concern and disbelief. The burns on his skin, the nausea that follows, the fatigue that lingers, they're real, tangible, but the story sounds impossibly. He seeks a doctor who finds no explanation for the marks, the symptoms, only noting their strangeness. Antonio's story spreads, first to local journalists, then to UFO researchers, who travel to Minas Gerais to hear it firsthand. He's reluctant at first, wary of ridicule, but his account is detailed, consistent, told with a quiet conviction that silences skeptics. He describes the craft, the beings, the woman, the tests, his words painting a picture too vivid for fiction. Doctors examine him again, noting the burns, the radiation-like symptoms, but no evidence of the craft is found. No scorch marks, no debris, just the field and the stars. Antonio's life changes. The quiet farmer, now a reluctant figure in a story that captivates the world. One of the earliest, detailed abduction accounts, told before such tales became common. Skeptics call it a hoax, a young man's fantasy, perhaps inspired by the science fiction of the 1950s. But Antonio is no storyteller, no seeker of fame. He's a farmer, grounded in the rhythms of the earth, his life rooted in the fields he plows. The burns, the symptoms, the consistency of his account, they defy easy dismissal. Researchers note the specificity of his descriptions, the craft's shape, the being's suits, the woman's eyes, details that feel too precise for invention. He never wavers, even decades later, his voice steady, his eyes distant, as if part of him is still in that glowing room. The fields of Minas Gerais lie quiet, their crops swaying under the same stars that watched that night. What did Antonio Villas-Boas see in that red light? Was it a craft from another world, its occupants studying a farmer caught in their path? Or was it something else? A dream woven from the stillness of the night? A vision born in the solitude of the fields? The tractor's path remains, the earth turned and ready for planting. But the answers stay out of reach, hidden in the glow of that egg-shaped craft. As you listen, imagine the warm Brazilian air, the soft rustle of grass, the stars above whispering secrets too vast to hold. Feel the mystery of that night, the light that changed everything, the beings who came and went. Antonio's story is a thread in the tapestry of the unknown, a moment where the ordinary met the infinite. Whatever happened in that field, it's a secret the night keeps, a whisper from the stars that fades into the dark. Let your mind drift, carried by the rhythm of the tractor, as the world softens and the universe opens wide. Imagine a cold December night in 1985, deep in the woods of upstate New York. The air is crisp, carrying the scent of pine and fresh snow, the kind of night where the world feels hushed, wrapped in a blanket of silence. The sky above is a deep indigo, stars twinkling faintly through the bare branches of towering trees. Whitley Strieber, a 40-year-old writer known for his horror novels, is resting in his family's secluded cabin, nestled in the Catskill Mountains. The cabin is warm, its wooden walls glowing softly in the light of a dying fire. The crackle of embers, a gentle counterpoint to the quiet outside. Whitley is in bed, his wife Anne and their young son asleep. Nearby, the world beyond the windows dark and still, inviting dreams. Whitley is a man of imagination, his mind accustomed to weaving stories of the strange and supernatural, but he's grounded, anew. Yorker, with a sharp intellect and a skeptic's eye. Tonight, he's tired, the long drive from the city and the crisp mountain air lulling him towards sleep. The cabin feels safe, a retreat from the noise of the world, its walls a barrier against the cold. The stars outside seem distant, their light softened by the snow-dusted trees, and Whitley drifts, his thoughts blurring at the edges, the boundary between wakefulness and dreams growing thin. The fire's glow fades, the cabin settles, and the night wraps around him like a soft, familiar embrace. Then something stirs, a faint noise, not the usual creak of the cabin or the rustle of wind, but something sharper, like a footstep on the floorboards. Whitley's eyes open, his heart quickening, though he tells himself it's nothing. A deer, perhaps, or the house settling. He lies still, listening, the darkness heavy around him. The noise comes again, closer now, and with it a light, soft, white, seeping through the window, not like moonlight, but brighter, almost alive. He sits up, his breath shallow, his writer's mind racing to make sense of it. He slips out of bed, the floor cold against his bare feet, and moves toward the window, the light growing stronger, bathing the room in an eerie glow that feels wrong, out of place in the quiet woods. He peers outside, expecting to see a car, a neighbor's lantern, anything familiar. But what he sees stops his breath. A shape, not quite solid, hovers above the trees. A craft, disc-like, its surface smooth and metallic, pulsing with that strange white light. It's silent, no hum of engines, no sound at all, just a presence that makes the air feel thick, charged. Whitley's curiosity battles his unease, his rational mind grappling with the impossible. Before he can move, the light intensifies, and he feels a presence in the room. Small figures, no taller than 4 feet, with slender bodies and large black almond-shaped eyes that seem to hold the night itself. They're not human, their skin gray and smooth, their movements fluid, almost ghostly, as they surround his bed. Whitley tries to call out, to wake Anne, but his voice won't come. His body frozen, as if the air itself is holding him. The beings are calm, their eyes unblinking, their presence overwhelming, yet strangely serene. He feels his body lift, weightless, drawn upward, through the ceiling, the cabin fading below as if it were a memory. The light engulfs him, warm and disorienting, and he's inside the craft, in a room with curved, glowing walls that seem to pulse faintly, like a living thing. The air is warm, slightly metallic, and a low hum vibrates in his chest, soothing despite the fear creeping at the edges of his mind. The beings guide him to a table, cold and smooth, and he lies down, his thoughts clear but detached, as if he's watching himself from a distance. The beings move with precision, their hands delicate but firm, wielding instruments that glow and hum, their shapes unfamiliar, their purpose unclear. Whitley feels a scanning sensation, like a light passing through him, probing without pain. Their eyes never leave him, those large black pools seeming to see not just his body, but his thoughts, his fears, his essence. They don't speak, but he senses their communication, a stream of ideas flowing into his mind, calm, curious, as if they're studying him, learning from him. One inserts a needle into his head, a brief pressure but no pain, and Whitley feels a rush of memories, fragments of his life flashing before him, as if they're reading his mind like an open book. The experience shifts, growing stranger. The beings show him images, landscapes of other worlds, skies with unfamiliar stars, scenes that feel both alien and hauntingly familiar. He senses they're sharing something, not just taking, as if they want him to. Understand their existence, their purpose. Time stretches, minutes or hours blending into a haze, the hum of the craft lulling him into a dreamlike state. Then, a small being, different from the others, approaches, a figure he later calls the female, her presence softer, her eyes conveying something like compassion. She communicates without words, a sense of connection that calms his fear, though the mystery of her intent remains. The beings guide him back, a flash of light, a sensation of falling, and he's in his bed, the cabin quiet, the night unchanged. He wakes, his heart pounding, his body trembling, the memory of the beings vivid in his mind. The clock shows hours have passed, hours he can't account for. Anne sleeps beside him, unaware, and the cabin feels the same, yet different, as if it's holding a secret. Whitley's skin bears strange marks, small triangular scars, a redness that lingers for days. He feels shaken, his writer's mind struggling to process the impossible odds. He keeps the experience private at first, fearing ridicule. But the dreams persist, vivid images of the craft, the beings, those unblinking eyes. He seeks hypnosis, hoping to unlock the memories buried in his mind, and the story emerges, piece by piece, like a novel he didn't choose to write. Whitley's account becomes a cultural touchstone when he publishes Communion in 1987, a book that lays bare his experience with raw honesty. He describes the craft, the beings, the needle, the female figure, his words painting a picture too vivid to dismiss. The book captivates the world, bringing alien abductions into the mainstream, but it also divides. Skeptics call it fiction, the work of a horror writer's imagination, perhaps fueled by sleep paralysis or a need for attention. Others see truth in his sincerity, fear in his eyes, the consistency of his story across years, the marks on his body, the medical reports noting unusual symptoms, add weight, though no physical evidence of the craft is found, no debris, no traces in the snowy woods. Whitley's life changes, his name now tied to the unknown, his reputation as a writer overshadowed by the story he can't escape. He insists he's telling the truth, his voice steady, his eyes haunted, as if part of him remains in that glowing room. Letters pour in from others, thousands claiming similar experiences, their stories echoing his. Lights, beings, missing time. The Catskill Mountains stand, silent, their trees cloaked in snow, their secrets buried in the earth. What did Whitley Strieber see that night? Was it a craft from another world, its occupants studying a man, caught in their path? Or was it something else? A vision born in the quiet of the cabin, a dream woven from the stillness of the night? Skeptics point to Whitley's career, his horror novels like The Wolfen, suggesting he crafted a tale to sell books. But Communion is no novel. It's raw, personal, written with a vulnerability that feels too real for fiction. The marks, the consistency, the shared experiences of others, they defy easy explanation. The woods outside the cabin remain, their paths untouched, the stars above unchanged. Whitley's story lingers, a thread in the tapestry of the unknown, a moment where the ordinary brushed against the infinite. The cabin, the light, the beings, they're pieces of a puzzle that refuses to fit, a mystery that belongs to the night. As you listen, imagine the cold mountain air, the soft glow of the fire, the stars above, whispering secrets too vast to hold. Feel the mystery of that night, the light that changed everything, the beings who watched and then vanished. Whitley Strieber's story is a glimpse of the impossible, a moment where the world we know met the world we don't. Whatever happened in that cabin, it's a secret the night keeps, a whisper from the stars that fades into the dark. Let your mind drift, carried by the rhythm of the woods, as the world softens and the universe opens wide. Imagine a warm March evening in 1997, in the sprawling desert city of Phoenix, Arizona. The air is dry, carrying the faint scent of creosote and dust. A gentle breeze whispering through the saguaro cacti that dot the landscape. The sky is a deep, endless blue, fading to black as the last traces of sunset dissolve, revealing a canopy of stars that shimmer like scattered gems. The city hums, below, its lights twinkling like a reflection of the heavens. But tonight, the desert feels alive, as if it's holding its breath, waiting for something extraordinary. Families are gathered in backyards, children playing under the glow of porch lights, while others drive along the highways, their car radios softly playing, the rhythm of the night lulling them into a quiet calm. In this bustling valley, thousands of ordinary people, teachers, doctors, truck drivers, students, are going about their evening, unaware that the sky above is about to tell a story no one can fully explain. Among them is Lynn Kitay, a physician with a curious mind standing on her balcony, her eyes drawn to the stars. She's not alone. Across Phoenix, from the suburbs of Mesa to the hills of Scottsdale, others are looking up, their attention caught by something unusual. It begins with a faint glow, a series of lights appearing over the horizon, not the usual flicker of planes or the steady pulse of stars, but something different, bright, amber, and moving with a purpose that feels almost alive. Lynn squints, her heart stirring with curiosity, as the lights grow clearer, forming a pattern that defies the familiar. The lights are arranged in a V shape, like a flock of birds, but too precise, too steady, to be anything natural. They move silently across the sky, no hum of engines, no roar of jets, just a quiet grace that seems to hush the desert itself. Lynn watches, her breath shallow. As the formation glides over Phoenix, its span massive, some say a mile wide, its lights glowing with a warmth that feels both inviting and unsettling. Across the city, others see it too. Families on their patios, drivers pulling over on Interstate 10, their eyes locked on the sky. A truck driver named Mitch Stanley, an amateur astronomer, grabs his telescope and peers through it, expecting to see a plane, but finds something else, a craft, dark and triangular, its lights steady, its movement deliberate, unlike anything he's seen in his years of stargazing. The lights pass over Phoenix, from Henderson, Nevada in the north, down through Tucson in the south, a journey of hundreds of miles in a single night. Witnesses describe a boomerang-shaped object, silent, its surface absorbing the starlight, its lights pulsing, faintly as if alive. Some, like Lynn, feel a connection, not fear, but awe, as if the craft is aware of them, watching as it glides. Others, like a young mother in Glendale, feel a chill, their children clinging to them, sensing something beyond their understanding. The lights move slowly, almost leisurely, before vanishing over the horizon, leaving the desert quiet once more. The stars unchanged, but the night forever altered. For some, the experience goes beyond the lights. Lynn Kitei, now a key figure in documenting the event, reports strange dreams in the days that follow. Visions of beings, small and gray, with large, unblinking eyes that seem to see into her soul. She recalls missing time, a gap of an hour or more, moments she can't account for, as if she was taken somewhere and returned. Others across Phoenix share similar stories, brief, fragmented memories of being in a room with smooth walls, lit by a soft, glowing light, surrounded by figures who move with a calm, purposeful grace. These accounts are hushed, shared in whispers, as if speaking too loudly might shatter the fragile truth they hold. The Phoenix Lights become a phenomenon, one of the largest mass UFO sightings in history, with thousands of witnesses across Stentor, Arizona. Lynn, driven by her experience, begins collecting stories, photographs, and videos, her balcony becoming a vantage point for capturing the mystery. Amateur footage shows the V-shaped lights, steady and silent, moving over the city, while others capture a second event later that night. Flares dropped by military planes, a separate occurrence that muddies the narrative. The military explains the lights as flares from A-10 Warthogs during a training exercise at the Barry Goldwater Range, but witnesses like Mitch, who saw the craft through his telescope, insist it was no flare, no plane, but something solid, something real. The city buzzes with talk, from radio shows to backyard barbecues, as people try to make sense of what they saw. Lynn's research deepens, her book and documentary, The Phoenix Lights, weaving together witness accounts from pilots to housewives, all describing the same massive, silent craft. Some, like a construction worker in Tempe, recall a sense of being watched, a feeling that the lights were not just objects, but entities aware of the city below. Others, like a teenager in Chandler, describe dreams of beings with large eyes, their presence calm but unsettling, as if they were studying humanity itself. The missing time, the dreams, the shared accounts, they form a tapestry of mystery, each thread adding to the enigma. Skeptics point to the military's explanation, the flares, the training exercise, as the answer to the lights. They argue the V-shape was an optical illusion, a trick of the eye under the desert sky, amplified by the era's UFO craze, fueled by shows like The X-Files. But the witnesses, thousands strong, disagree. Flares don't move in formation, they say, don't glide silently for hours, don't leave dreams of beings and gaps in time. Lynn's footage, grainy but compelling, shows a craft, not scattered lights, and Mitch's telescope revealed a structure, not a flare's flicker. The military's explanation satisfies some, but for those who stood under the stars that night, it feels incomplete, a story that doesn't fit the weight of what they saw. The Arizona desert holds its secrets, its vastness a canvas for the unknown. Governor Fife Symington, initially dismissive later, admits to seeing the craft himself, a massive silent triangle that defied explanation. His confession, years later, adds credibility, but no evidence emerges, no debris, no radar records, just the stories of thousands, their voices steady, their eyes haunted. Lynn Kitei becomes a voice for the witnesses, her work a beacon for those who saw and felt something beyond the ordinary. The dreams of beings, the missing time, the V-shaped lights, they linger, pieces of a puzzle that refuses to fit, a mystery that belongs to the night. The Phoenix Lights remain one of the most documented UFO events, yet no definitive answer emerges. Was it a craft from another world, its occupants observing a city unaware of their presence? Or was it something earthly, a secret military project, a trick of light and imagination? The desert stretches on, its cacti standing sentinel, its stars unchanged. The witnesses carry their stories. Some like Lynn embracing the mystery, others quietly haunted by dreams they can't explain. The lights, the craft, the beings, they're a whisper from the unknown, a moment where the ordinary met the infinite. As you listen, imagine the warm desert air, the soft glow of city lights, the stars above whispering secrets too vast to hold. Feel the mystery of that night, the V-shaped lights gliding silently, the beings who may have watched from above. The Phoenix Lights are a thread in the tapestry of the unknown, a glimpse of something beyond our reach. Whatever happened over Phoenix, it's a secret the desert keeps, a glow that fades into the dark. Let your mind drift, carried by the rhythm of the night. As the world softens and the universe opens wide. Linda keeps the experience private at first, the weight of it too heavy to share. But the dreams come, vivid, relentless, of the craft, the beings, the table, those eyes. She feels violated, yet also touched by something vast, something beyond her understanding. She confides in Bud Hopkins, a UFO researcher, who listens with a quiet intensity, his own investigations into abductions lending her story credibility. Under hypnosis, the memories sharpen, the details vivid, the blue light, the weightless ascent, the glowing room, the being's silent communication. Linda describes a medical examination, instruments probing her gently, and a sense of purpose she can't grasp, as if she was part of an experiment too big to comprehend. The case takes a remarkable turn when witnesses come forward, unconnected to Linda, but drawn into the same mystery. 2. Security guards, assigned to protect a high-profile figure, later rumored to be UN Secretary General Javier Pérez de Cuellar, claim they saw a woman floating outside a high-rise that night, enveloped in a beam of blue light. They describe a craft, small and glowing, hovering above the city, and a figure suspended in the air, their account matching Linda's in eerie detail. Letters arrive, anonymous but specific, from others who saw the light, the craft, the woman, their words corroborating a story that defies belief. Hopkins investigates, finding no connection between Linda and these witnesses, their accounts a puzzle piece that makes the impossible feel real. The Linda Napolitano case, often called the Brooklyn Bridge abduction, becomes a cornerstone of UFO lore, its multiple witnesses setting it apart. Linda's story, detailed in Hopkins's book Witnessed, captivates and divides. Skeptics call it a hoax, a fabrication by a woman seeking attention, perhaps influenced by the UFO craze of the late 1980s. But Linda is no publicity seeker. She's private, her life disrupted by the scrutiny, her sincerity unwavering. The guards' accounts, the anonymous letters, the consistency of her story. Under hypnosis, they defy easy dismissal. No physical evidence is found, no debris, no traces in the city, but the scars on her body, the shared sightings, linger as unanswered questions. New York City moves on, its lights never dimming, its streets unaware of the night one woman claims she left them behind. What did Linda Napolitano see in that blue light? Was it a craft from another world, its occupants studying a woman caught in their path? Or was it something else? A dream born in the quiet of her apartment, a vision woven from the city's restless energy. The stars above, Manhattan, faint but present, hold no answers, their light softened by the urban glow. Linda's story is a thread in the tapestry of the unknown, a moment where the ordinary met the infinite, witnessed by strangers who saw the same impossible light. As you listen, imagine the cool city air, the soft hum of traffic, the stars above whispering secrets too vast to hold. Feel the mystery of that night, the blue light that lifted a woman from her world, the beings who watched and then vanished. Linda Napolitano's story is a glimpse of the impossible, a moment where the city's pulse met the rhythm of the cosmos. Whatever happened in that high-rise, it's a secret the night keeps, a whisper from the stars that fades into the dark. Let your mind drift, carried by the rhythm of the city, as the world softens and the universe opens wide. The Rendlesham Forest incident, often called Britain's Roswell, becomes one of the most documented UFO cases, backed by military memos, Halt's tape, and physical traces in the clearing. The Ministry of Defense investigates, concluding the lights were likely from a nearby lighthouse or a misidentified aircraft, but the witnesses reject this. The Orford Ness Lighthouse too distant, its beam too weak to explain the craft. The impressions in the ground, the radiation readings, the consistent accounts, they defy the official explanation. The airmen face scrutiny, some ridiculed, others haunted by the experience, their lives changed by a night in the forest. Skeptics argue it was a prank, a military test, or a misinterpretation of natural phenomena. The Cold War era ripe with secret projects and heightened tensions. But the airmen were trained observers, their duties rooted in vigilance, their accounts detailed and unwavering. Jim's notebook, filled with sketches of the craft and its symbols, the binary code he transcribed, adds a layer of mystery, a puzzle that resists solving. Halt's tape, released years later, captures the urgency of the moment, his voice steady but tinged with disbelief. The forest yields no further evidence, no debris, no lasting marks, but the story lingers, a thread in the tapestry of the unknown. The Rendlesham Forest stands silent, its pines swaying gently, the stars above unchanged. What did Jim Penniston, John Burroughs, and Charles Halt see in that clearing? Was it a craft from another world, its occupants studying a military base in the heart of England? Or was it something else, a secret experiment, a trick of light in the winter night? The bases are closed now, a forest, reclaiming the land. But the mystery endures, carried by the airmen's voices, their eyes haunted by a light that vanished. The symbols, the code, the missing time, they're pieces of a puzzle that refuses to fit, a story that belongs to the stars. As you listen, imagine the cold forest air, the soft rustle of pines, the stars above whispering secrets too vast to hold. Feel the mystery of that night, the glowing craft that landed, the beings who watched and then vanished. The Rendlesham Forest incident is a glimpse of the impossible, a moment where the ordinary met the infinite. Whatever happened in that clearing, it's a secret the forest keeps, a whisper from the stars that fades into the dark. Let your mind drift, carried by the rhythm of the night, as the world softens and the universe opens wide. Imagine a cool spring evening in 1983 in the quiet suburbs of the Hudson Valley, New York. The air is soft, carrying the faint scent of blooming lilacs and freshly cut grass. A gentle breeze rustling through the trees that line the sleepy neighborhoods. The sky above is a deep velvet blue, stars twinkling like scattered jewels, their light softened by the occasional cloud drifting across the night. In towns like New Paltz, Brewster, and Yorktown, families are settling in, porch lights casting a warm glow over tidy lawns, the hum of distant traffic a soothing backdrop. The valley feels peaceful, its rolling hills and winding rivers a haven from the bustle of nearby New York City, the kind of place where the night invites dreams. In one such neighborhood, a man named Dennis, a mechanic with a practical streak, steps outside to walk his dog, the leash loose in his hand. The street is quiet. The only sounds the soft padding of paws and the occasional chirp of crickets. Dennis glances up, his eyes catching a glow in the sky, not the usual flicker of a plane or the steady pulse of a star, but something brighter, amber, moving, with a grace that feels out of place. He stops, his dog tugging gently at the leash, and watches as the lights form a shape. A boomerang, massive, perhaps 300 feet across, its outline dark against the starry sky, its lights pulsing faintly like a heartbeat in the night. The sight is mesmerizing, not frightening but strange, as if the valley itself is holding its breath. Dennis isn't alone. Across the Hudson Valley, from Peekskill to Poughkeepsie, hundreds of others see it too. Housewives on their porches, teenagers driving home, commuters on Route 6 pulling over to stare. The boomerang-shaped craft glides silently, no hum of engines, no roar of jets, just a quiet presence that seems to hush the world below. A teacher in Carmel, standing in her backyard, feels a chill, not from the cool air but from the sense that the craft is aware. Its lights shifting as if watching the valley. A truck driver near Mahopac describes it as a floating city, its size overwhelming, its silence unnatural, its lights glowing with a warmth that draws the eye. The craft moves slowly, almost leisurely, drifting over homes, highways, and hills before vanishing into the night. For some, the experience goes deeper. A woman named Susan, a nurse in Wappingers Falls, feels time slip away as she watches the lights, her memory blurring, hours missing when she finally returns to her senses. She dreams later of a room with smooth, glowing walls lit by a soft, unnatural light, and beings, small, with large black eyes. Their presence calm but probing. Others in the valley report similar dreams, fragmented memories of being lifted, of floating in a beam of light, of ease that seemed to see through them. These stories are shared quietly, in hushed conversations at diners or church gatherings, as if speaking too loudly might unravel the fragile truth they hold. The Hudson Valley sightings, as they come to be known, stretch over months, from 1983 into 1984, with thousands of witnesses reporting the same massive, silent craft. Dennis, the mechanic, becomes one of many to share his story with UFO researchers like Philip Imbrogno, who document the wave of sightings. Witnesses describe the boomerang's lights, amber, white sometimes, green, arranged in a V-shape, moving with a precision that defies known aircraft. A pilot near Stormville, trained to know the skies, insists it was no plane. Its size and silence, unlike anything he's flown. A family in Pine Bush captures grainy photos, the lights clear, against the dark sky, while others sketch the craft, their drawings eerily consistent, showing a boomerang or triangle with glowing points along its edge. The sightings spark a frenzy in the valley. Local newspapers filled with headlines, radio shows buzzing with callers. Some witnesses, like Susan, undergo hypnosis, seeking answers for their missing time. She recalls a craft's interior, a room with curved walls and a hum that vibrates softly, beings with large eyes guiding her to a table. They don't speak, but she feels their thoughts. A communication that's calm, almost curious, as if they're studying her essence. Other witnesses describe similar experiences: beams of light, weightless ascents, rooms that feel alive, beings who watch without malice but with purpose. The accounts align, even among strangers, their dreams and memories weaving a tapestry of the unknown. Skeptics offer explanations: experimental aircraft, perhaps a secret military project from nearby Stewart Air Force Base, or a mass hallucination fueled by the UFO craze of the 1980s. A group of pilots later admits to flying small planes in formation, a prank to mimic a UFO, but their stunt doesn't match the scale or silence of the boomerang, which witnesses say dwarfed any plane. The military denies involvement, and no official records confirm a project matching the craft's description. The FBI and FAA investigate, but find no answers, the files sealed, adding to the mystery. The photographs, the sketches, the consistent accounts, they defy the skeptics' claims, leaving a puzzle with no easy solution. The Hudson Valley becomes a hotspot for UFO enthusiasts, its hills and skies a canvas for the unexplained. Researchers like Imbrogno note physical traces, burned grass near landing sites, elevated radiation in some areas, though not enough to prove anything definitive. Witnesses like Dennis face ridicule, but stand by their stories, their voices steady, their eyes haunted by the lights they saw. Susan's dreams persist, her missing time a gap she can't fill, her memories of the beings vivid yet elusive. The valley's residents carry on, their lives resuming, but the sightings linger, a shared experience that binds them, a secret whispered in the quiet of the night. The boomerang craft returns sporadically, reported again in 1984, then fading, only to reappear in later years, cementing the valley's place in UFO lore. No debris is found, no wreckage, no concrete proof, yet the sheer number of witnesses, thousands over months, makes dismissal difficult. The photographs, though blurry, show lights in formation, not planes or stars. The hypnosis sessions, conducted separately, reveal consistent details: the craft's size, the being's eyes, the glowing rooms. The valley's hills remain, their rivers flowing gently, their stars unchanged, but the mystery endures, a thread in the tapestry of the unknown. Skeptics point to the era, the 1980s alive with UFO stories, movies like Close Encounters shaping imaginations. They suggest the lights were misidentified aircraft, the missing time a trick of the mind, the beings a product of sleep paralysis or suggestion. But the witnesses were diverse: mechanics, nurses, pilots, families, not prone to collective delusion, their account specific and unwavering. The boomerang's size, its silence, its deliberate path, they don't fit the skeptics' explanations. The burned grass, the radiation, the photographs, they're pieces of a puzzle that refuses to fit, a story that belongs to the stars. The Hudson Valley sleeps now, its towns quiet under the same sky that glowed with amber lights. What did Dennis, Susan, and thousands of others see in 1983? Was it a craft from another world, its occupants observing a valley unaware of their presence? Or was it something earthly, a secret project, a trick of light and imagination? The hills stand sentinel, their trees swaying gently, their secrets buried in the earth. The witnesses carry their stories, some embracing the mystery, others quietly haunted by dreams of beings and lights. The boomerang, the missing time, the glowing eyes, they're a whisper from the unknown, a moment where the ordinary met the infinite. As you listen, imagine the cool valley air, the soft glow of porch lights, the stars above whispering secrets too vast to hold. Feel the mystery of those nights, the boomerang gliding silently, the beings who may have watched from above. And so, dear listener, we come to the end of our journey through the stars, a gentle voyage across 12 unsolved mysteries that shimmer like constellations in the night sky. From snowy forests in Arizona to quiet highways in New Hampshire, from the tranquil waters of Maine to the bustling lights of New York City, we've wandered through tales of lights, beings, and moments where the ordinary brushed against the infinite. Each story, like a whisper from the cosmos, lingers in the mind, a soft echo of the unknown that invites wonder without demanding answers. The desert skies of Phoenix, the hills of the Hudson Valley, the silent pines of Rendlesham, they hold their secrets close, their truths hidden in the glow of distant stars. As you rest now, imagine yourself lying beneath a boundless night sky, the air cool and soft against your skin, the stars above, twinkling with stories yet untold. Let the mysteries we've shared tonight wrap around you like a warm blanket, their strangeness a comfort, their questions a lullaby. The universe is vast, its edges unseen, but here, in this moment, you are safe, cradled by the quiet of the night, the lights that danced over cities, the beings who watched from glowing crafts, the hours that slipped away. They fade into the background, becoming threads in the tapestry of your dreams. Feel your breath slow, your body sinking deeper into the softness of your bed, the world around you growing distant. These stories were crafted to guide you gently toward sleep, to carry you to a place where the line between reality and dreams blurs, where the unknown becomes a friend. If your eyes are heavy, let them close. Let the hum of the cosmos soothe you, like a melody played on the strings of the stars. If you're still awake, let your mind drift, wandering through the possibilities, the what-ifs, the quiet beauty of a universe too vast to fully know. The tales of Travis Walton, Betty and Barney Hill, the Allagash Four, and all the others, they're not just stories, but windows into a mystery that stretches beyond our reach. They remind us that the night is full of wonders, that the stars hold secrets we may never unravel. Yet there's peace in that unknowing, a calm in letting the questions rest, unanswered, like fireflies flickering in the dark. The forests, the rivers, the cities, they all sleep now, under the same sky that watched those strange nights, their silence a gift, a space for dreams to bloom. Thank you for joining me on this journey, for letting these tales of the unknown carry you toward rest. The universe is always there, waiting, its stars shining softly, ready to greet you when you wake. For now, let go. Let the night take you. Let the glow of those distant lights fade into the warmth of sleep. You're safe here, held by the quiet, the mystery, the endless sky. Sleep well, dear listener, and may your dreams be as boundless as the cosmos, as gentle as the stars that watch over you tonight.